All right,
Well,
man. I wanted to start at the beginning of this thing, but we got to start at the end. I mean, this thing online is being praised as literally the greatest thing ever. I've seen like two other comments, myself and like two other people out of thousands that didn't like this. Everyone else thinks this is like the greatest thing ever. You have Mick Foley tweeting, "Can I please be in next year's Boneyard match?"
yeah.
I mean, this thing is a hit, and I guess you give him credit for the circumstance.
Right.
But I'll go in later, you guys. This immediately was cornball as crap to me, and I was immediately out. What do you guys think?
Yeah, to me it looked like the ending of a WWE produced movie, like The Marine or 12 Rounds or something like that. And had that been at the end of one of those movies, I think what they shot and what they delivered was fine. But WrestleMania is not the time to do that, and WrestleMania is not a freaking movie. I mean, yeah, like I think you said before, we give them leeway because of the circumstances absolutely suck, but there's so many different things that they could have done with it to make it more towards what wrestling actually is, and that wasn't. They just took it to a whole nother place,
Which they always do. I mean, that's WWE for you. They're constantly going a little too far. Again, it was shot great. Love the way it looked. I mean,
absolutely.
it was they did a good job with that. But Nick, I know you are not an Undertaker fan. Maybe you'll say a lot of the stuff that I was just gonna say here, and I'll wrap things up. But for me, the second I was already kind of whatever. I knew it wasn't gonna be good when he came in on the bike. In the cheesy, like, what 80s movie can I fill in the blank here? With a bad guy rolls, like Top Gun or something. Like, it seemed like the cheesiest 80s movie of all time. Here comes the hero on the bike. And how is he all of a sudden the coolest guy in school now after 17 years?
I don't know, man. I wrote on mine too. It was like a VHS, straight to VHS 90s movie. I don't know. So that was, yeah, I felt the same way. The AJ thing getting out of the car, the hearse was pretty funny. I did like that. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
And like you said, they were put into a situation where they had to. But I'll let you handle this because you seem, I mean, I thought it was terrible, but you even seem more upset. It was, I don't understand why they had to do all the extra stuff. Just have the two come to the graveyard, have them battle it out. One throws the other in the pit, wins it, and there you go, and you're out of there. I mean, you could add some stuff. I don't know why the Taker waited to use fire. I would have used the fire on, like, when I was getting jumped by, like, 8 dudes. I would, like,
yeah.
You know, like.
Again. We have always said, yeah, why does he, if he can shoot lightning and make fire come up and whatever, then why doesn't he just roast everybody?
Yeah.
Match is over.
The other two tag team guys were there, and then they had all those other, I guess, evil turned druid guys.
The druids turned on him.
And got hit once and we're dead.
Yeah, summon fire, man.
Maybe he knew that he'd only have to hit him once and they'd die, so he saved his fire till later for no reason.
And the last thing, I'm an actual AJ fan. I've liked him since the early 2000s, back when TNA was putting on those just pay-per-view matches, man. I've really liked this guy. I thought they pretty much murdered him tonight, man. I mean, The Undertaker not only beat AJ, he beat up the Good Brothers, a hand of thugs that they hired. And it was a squash match. I mean, he threw AJ around. I mean, AJ got a couple punches in here and there. But I mean,
he almost killed him. But then he came back like Rocky in the street in Rocky 5. Like when Tommy Gunn about kills him, and then all of a sudden he's back to life.
I just didn't hear no bell.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a major problem with a lot of it, man. I mean, my biggest thing is all of a sudden, and we kind of saw it coming, him becoming the biker taker again. But all of a sudden, he's just the biker taker again. Like, I hate that. I don't understand that. I just can't deal with that, man. I don't like the Undertaker, period. And the biker taker's even worse. And again, all of a sudden, he's like this super cool guy, and he's talking all sorts of smack like a cool guy while he's beating up AJ Styles during this match. Like at the end, you know, once he came back to life and came out of the grave and whatever, he's talking all sorts of smack. The Undertaker, Mr. Deadman, all of a sudden, he's a cool smack talker again, huh? Like, I'm sorry. It doesn't work for me, brother. And you're right. AJ has gotten murdered this entire feud.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we said it earlier today. Why even have this match? Taker's already kicked his butt twice.
Neither of you guys know, is he done? Is his contract up or something going on here? Because
I would have thought we'd hear something if he did. I haven't heard anything.
That's a great question and a great point, though.
You would think.
I mean, how does he come back from this? Like, really?
I don't know.
Well, he just rides his bike out. I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. The music throughout the whole thing, I mean, was worse than any B horror movie you've ever. Whenever like something happened, like there's a reveal, the music dun 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 dun. Like, is there an orchestra sitting on in the next yard over? I mean, I get it. They did what they had to do. It probably was better than them fighting in the Performance Center.
Probably, but maybe. I don't. That's going to be everybody's out on this match. You know, when you counter them with this, they did.
I've already heard it.
They did what they had to do. That's what everybody's. There's a million other things they could have. Like I said, just some cool hardcore match in that whatever graveyard without the special effects, without the music, without him shooting fire. Would have been so much better than that.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like we have always said, and I don't get it. It's because it's the Taker. The guy can do anything. I mean, the guy could literally be like throwing COVID on people out there, and they'd be like, yeah, Taker. Yeah, COVID Taker.
Sounded like he had it.
I mean, I'm just looking through my tweets here, man. People tweeting at me because I'm one of the very few, if one, on earth tweeting bad about this. That match was amazing, and Motorcycle Taker is forever goated. Okay. Yeah, here's one. Oh, hush. It was a great show. Was it? I fully expected this show to suck, and it didn't. Well, you expected it to. The expectations were zero.
Right.
When you got zero expectations, I thought the show was better than I thought it was going to be.
Talking just specifically this match, the rest of the matches, yeah, they were about as good as you thought they could be, or maybe even a little bit better because of the situation. But this match was so bad.
We can't even call it a match, though. That's the thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, I give them credit for trying something because given the situation that they're in, but it was just so over the top, man. And I don't know how anybody looks at the Taker when that music hits and he comes in on that bike. How do people take that seriously? I don't get it. I'm over here laughing my butt off, and everybody else on earth is like, yeah! I don't get it.
I don't either.
No, I don't know if you guys. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you noticed this. That I in our text messages, I said I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 3 or 4 different versions of Taker in that match. Where once he got thrown in there, I thought he was going to pop back up as like with the hat.
Dead man. That could have happened. Well, it would have been better than what they did, honestly.
Yes.
I would have liked that better. As much as I hate the switching Taker, that would have been better instead of the
know how
crap
to win
talking.
Did you guys know how to win this match going in?
No, I assumed it was a graveyard match, and they called it Boneyard
Okay,
because
that's what I assumed
people are
too.
dying right now.
I didn't know what was going on. Like as soon as I saw the grave, and that was cheesy at the end, pulling away the moss. I'm sorry, we forgot that.
Oh,
That was,
yeah.
oh, come on.
Well, dude,
Oh.
you see AJ's hand or whatever, and then he
Killed
puts his
AJ.
fist up, and his symbol lights up behind him, and his music hits again. Like,
Oh man. Well,
they're obviously, I don't know. No, you know what? I don't know if they're obviously going for cornball or if they were taking it seriously. Either way, I didn't like it. He pulls off and his logo lights up and music hits like they were fighting at a freaking dance club.
It's like a version of Roadhouse, or something like that. Like, I'm surprised Jean-Claude Van Damme wasn't there.
Yeah, he should have been.
Yeah.
Maybe he shot it.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe he was one of the druids.
Directed and produced by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I don't know. I know we are very much in the minority here. That was a massive thumbs down for me. God bless you for trying, but
It didn't belong where it was. Like again, separate it, put it somewhere. Like if even if they put it on the network and say, "Hey, we produced this segment or whatever," and don't advertise it as a match, and then be like, "Hey, this is 20 minutes of something we had fun with." Sure, then it looks great and it's entertaining. But as a part of a match in WrestleMania,
no. All right, well, let's go back to the beginning. Did you guys watch the pre-show? Do we want to talk, or do we want to talk about just kick it off from the start?
I would just go with the Kabuki Warriors. That first one, I mean, although unless you want to talk, Cesaro's finishing move was one of my favorite moments of the night.
It might have been the best.
I thought him swivel, like that little swivel of the hips thing. I don't know the guy he's fighting. I like Drew something or other. He's hanging out with Brian the last few weeks.
Yep, Drew Gulak.
Okay. You want to cover that?
Well, I actually turned it off in the middle of that match. I was watching it and then I left. I did see the end. The finish was great.
That
very
was all
cool. We all know Cesaro has been crapped on for years. Why can't they push this guy? People like this guy. He does cool stuff like that. Guy's strong as heck.
He can talk a little too.
Yeah, I don't understand. Vince just doesn't see it in the guy.
I thought he was funny when he was with Sheamus. Like, that was a good tag team. And
it was.
And like I said, I think I said in one of the shows the other day, when he won the Andre Memorial Battle Royal, like, that was their chance. Because he was hot, and then they turned him heel and just completely, which they do with so many people now.
Yep.
And and not to jump ahead, but what's going to happen? That just made me think of this. With Braun Strowman beating Goldberg the way he did, and Goldberg beating Bray Wyatt the way that he did, I can almost guarantee you that Bray Wyatt's going to feud with Strowman next and completely wash out everything that has happened.
It could. When we don't even know what's going to happen next,
Well,
I mean,
next could be September.
Right. Yeah, we have no idea what the heck they're going to do for the next couple of months. After that, let's just jump into the show. The show starts off. You get Stephanie talking at the beginning. They do the America the Beautiful montage, which was kind of cool. For what it was, it was cool. Like, okay, they're doing what they can. And then they go into the actual show open. And the show open has nothing to do with the matches, which it normally does. And sometimes they play in the city a little bit. What was that open? It was way too long and not funny. They were like trying to make it funny, like a parody of Pirates of the Caribbean. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was terrible.
Yeah, I couldn't follow what was going on with the wait, stop, no rewind, stop, no rewind. Like, I had no idea what they were going for
Right.
or anything. I mean, yeah, it not a good start for sure.
No. And
My
again,
big,
nothing, all these epic opens that they've had throughout the years. No, this was just like a joke. Like they were trying to be Comedy Central.
my guess would also be just laziness, maybe, because it looked like they went with the promo they were going to use if it was at Tampa Bay Stadium.
Right.
And maybe
Right.
there were other things that would have went with the feuds, and they could have went different ways, and maybe that would have made more sense. But reshifting the event, holding it in the performance center, you got to reshoot the intro then. I
Right.
mean, you got to do something else.
Well, I just don't know why aren't you doing like one of the epic ones they always do with clips from old manias in this mania. And yeah, it was like they were trying to do like at 21. Some people like these, I guess, too. All those fake Hollywood sketches they did at 21, which was not good.
Right. Oh, yeah. Braveheart, Triple H, or something
Yes,
like that. Yeah.
that seemed like that's what this was. I don't know what you're doing. Anyway, so with nobody in your crowd, you think you got to start off with something hot. Okay, everybody at home is thinking this is going to suck. Everybody at home is like, I'm expecting this to be terrible. So what do? Right out of the gate? They don't give you a banger right out of the gate like they normally do in a normal situation. No, they go the opposite. And the girls didn't like not work hard. Like the work was fine.
Yep.
But Alexa and Nikki against the Kabuki Warriors. Guys, just go ahead. What do you got?
Not a whole lot because I think I was texting with you guys more than watching the match. It's just having Nikki and Alexa together is hard. If you would have put Alexa in there against both of the Kabuki Warriors on her own, I think it could have been a great match.
Right.
But Nikki Cross, there's no funniness about the parody between Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, like with Mick Foley and The Rock. You know, you don't get anything out of that. It's just one chick's crazy and one chick's crazy hot, and
right.
they don't do anything. Like as far as work rate goes or whatever, I thought the match itself was fine. I mean, you know, it was what it was going to be, and I think they did a good job. But you need to start the whole night off with momentum, and I think somebody said it earlier that starting off with the ladder match, something that just gets you going and gets you on fire, is the way to go. But yeah, totally dropping the ball, especially with no crowd. And again, I think Asuka was playing to the crowd a few times and acting like they were there again, and it makes no sense other than thus they're going that she's just a nut, which they have been.
Right. That's kind of what they've been doing. Yeah, I don't get the mix of those two. I don't know what they see with those two. To me, Alexa, not that there's crowds anymore, gets as big a pop as any woman on that roster when her music hits. She is over, and she's over because she can talk, because she's interesting. And you're wasting her by putting her alongside this girl. Meanwhile, I got other girls in the singles division that I don't want to see at all. And they have zero charisma, Bailey being one of them. And this girl is wasted. But beyond that, the match, I don't know. I don't have any interest in the Kabuki Warriors. I don't have any interest in Nikki Cross. So they came right out of the gate with a dud, as far as I'm concerned. And the yelling, they did it on Raw as well the other night. The constant chatter, because I think they're trying to make up for them being no crowd. So they're trying to make extra noise. Like, it was just, I had to turn the volume down.
Yeah. The other day when Alexa was mocking Asuka, that was funny, but that was the end of it. They didn't need to do it anymore.
Right.
And when they had Asuka on commentary that one time, that was funny.
Right.
Okay, let's move on now. Let's be done with it.
Well, and I was done with that after like 2 questions of her. Just, Nick, you got anything?
I like the Kabuki Warriors. I'm not in love with them. I think they make sense as a tag team,
Sure.
for the women's division. Alexa Bliss is my favorite female character. I think she may be of all time my favorite female character.
Probably.
Um, I don't know though. I'll echo what you guys said. I don't understand why they feel she needs to be in the tag team division. I think that's a mistake. There's not a chemistry there with her and Cross. I didn't like the match. It wasn't bad. It felt uneventful. It felt boring. That's all I'll say. I mean, I didn't hate. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it felt a little long, uneventful, and boring.
Yeah, and that's not exactly, like I said, a match you gotta expect. When you think, hey, we're kicking off WrestleMania, that's not
Right.
what you expect in a normal year, let alone here when you really have to kick things off. You always want to start with a bang, get the crowd hot from the get-go. Well, now your crowd is everybody at home who is expecting this to be trash. And that's kind of what you gave them. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. It did not work for me at all. Then you follow it up with the Sami Zayn interview right after that. Now, we'll jump ahead to this, but Braun Strowman gets thrown in the world title match. For what reason, we don't know. They haven't told us. He's just in there. No interview before the match. No interview after the match when he wins his first world title. Yet we get to hear from Sami Zayn. I'm not a fan. A lot of people are. Okay, that's great. So we get to hear from them. So now they're 0 for 2. Very next guy we get to see on the screen is Baron Corbin. You are now 0 for 3. Then Elias comes out. This match, again, why even have this match? What's the point? Why are we even having this match?
You know what it felt like? It felt like Coco Beware versus Rick Martel at WrestleMania 6.
Yeah,
And,
could be.
But like right now, there's no need for that. There's plenty of other talent. It's not like they have to fill time. And there's another match like this tomorrow. Lashley and Aleister Black. Like they just
Is that
threw those
happening?
two. Yeah, they just
Is
threw
it?
those two people together. I'm not a fan of doing it, but it does. It reminds you of back in the day. So I think I know a lot of people on another podcast that would probably love it.
Right. Nick, anything from this?
I just had the same thing on here. Seemed like just I have my notes. Seemed like it was just a match. No need to be at WrestleMania. I don't get this. They push Corbin. Then he loses to Roman and Elias. Like they pushed him hard. They talked about that. Money in the Bank winner, Battle Royal winner at WrestleMania. He's the king of the ring. Then he loses 2 feuds in a row. One to Roman, one to Elias. Elias loses all the time, but wins at WrestleMania. I just don't know where they're going, why they needed this match, why they did this match. They can't seem to decide where to go with Elias, up or down.
No.
Waste of a time.
In this feud began 2 weeks ago when Gronk showed up. When Gronk became the host. And then Corbin came down, and then Elias came down. That was the feud. And then last week he threw him off the balcony. Whoosh, as he fell down. Where was Gronk? Why wasn't he in this? The only time we saw him was when he was saying yes, yes, yes. Like, that was the whole angle. It was just stupid. Again, did we need this? We didn't even need this. Why are they fighting if it isn't a Gronk thing? Get out. Waste of time. So everybody online is just like, what is going on? This is terrible. And to their credit, people love the Taker thing, so they got him in the end. Now everybody can't wait for tomorrow night. But man, the first 2 matches here, what the heck? First big match of the night, Shayna and Becky. I actually was looking forward to this. I thought it might be pretty good. Figured they put it on Shayna. They do not. Shayna gets rolled up. Dave, you really liked this finish. Go ahead and tell us your thoughts.
No, I did. You're right, 100%. First of all, the first thing that jumped up was it being an homage to Bret Hart and Roddy Piper from WrestleMania 8, the Intercontinental match.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't kick off the turnbuckle, but
same kind of,
same concept. But the biggest thing is with the way Shayna ran over everybody in the Elimination Chamber, and she's just beat the crap out of Becky. They found a way to get Becky over and not have Shayna look totally weak.
Right.
And like she just doesn't know what she's doing all of a sudden.
Right.
I think what they can do now with this angle is put it to they'll talk about how Shayna's inexperienced as a wrestler. She's only been doing it for so long. She's used to MMA, and she just got out wrestled by the best wrestling woman that the company has. At least that's how I hope they go with it. But I thought it was a smart decision. So that was just a tweet.
I agree with you, except for Shayna's been in NXT, and they've told us that NXT is equal to WWE. They've told us that. So apparently she's equal, and now she isn't. And the other thing is she's run through everybody. She was a vampire. She bites Becky on the neck. She's a killer. She runs through everybody in the Elimination Chamber in 1.4 seconds. Now, all of a sudden, she forgets how to wrestle. I didn't like that. Good match, though. I liked the match. It was brutal. I liked how it was, kind of a big, tough, brutal moves. Throwing her into the ring, the announce table, I thought was sweet. I liked it. The finish for some reason didn't work for me. Normally it would. I don't know if it's because there was no crowd there. I'm not sure. But I liked the match. I don't like Shayna losing, though, after you did everything you've done with her.
Yeah, but you did make a good point, too, about the crowd not being there. I'm really curious to see who they would have cheered for, if they would have liked Becky going over or not. We don't know who's hot and who's cold right now. The one thing I will say is,
you never know with a Mania crowd. You never know.
Exactly. And the other thing is, I'm actually kind of glad that Becky won because I'm sick of them popping titles on and off of people left and right.
She's had it for a year now.
Yeah. So giving her a substantial run, I think, is a good thing.
Nick, anything from this one?
I don't know. I don't disagree with anything you guys have said. I don't like Shayna Baszler. I'm not a big fan of many people at NXT. I do like Becky Lynch. I'm glad she won. Match was good, I guess. I thought of you guys, though, watching this because it almost reminded me as the build-up to the Ambrose Lesnar and how you guys kind of made me look at that match. This woman bit her like neck off. They had, pounded up with chair shots. I just thought this match was going to be even a little bit more brutal than it was. I thought these two ladies were coming for each other. Like it's going to be a knockdown, drag out, blood on the mat. Not that it had to be out, but it's a good match. I'm with Dave. I really enjoyed the finish. I thought it was good. I just thought it was going to be more of a barbaric, destructive match.
Good point. That's a very good point.
Sure. Yeah, can't argue with that. That. I thought it was the first bright spot on the show.
It was. It's not a bad match.
Nope. Moving on. Sammy and Brian. Man, Sammy just came back a month ago, so obviously they're pushing him. He's with his league of jobbers, though, so it makes me wonder, okay, are these all, Cesaro won earlier in the night. Shinsuke doesn't even have a match. This guy won the Rumble 2 years ago.
Can I say something? Yeah, I was going to say it. Can I just piggyback on Shinsuke? I just wrote this down. Went from winning the Royal Rumble and main eventing a title match at WrestleMania 2 years ago to being kind of just thrown into a fatal four-way a year ago for the tag titles to standing outside the ring like Virgil in this WrestleMania.
For Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, so are they going to push all these guys again? I don't know, but you can say the same thing about Daniel Bryan. This guy, depending on how you feel about Sammy, and a lot of people do like him, But yes, Dave. Yeah, a lot of people do like him, but my gosh, dude, Daniel Bryan was the guy at WrestleMania 30, and then he came back, and then whatever. He's the guy, and now he's losing to Sami Zayn clean, and
Clean.
losing because of the classic dumb babyface thing, where the dumb babyface got distracted by the guys on the outside, and that ended up costing him the match. He dove out there, then he got up, gave Sammy plenty of time to kick him in the face. It wasn't a bad match. It was fine. It's just, wow, Daniel Bryan. He's just the guy. Like, he's
after getting killed by the Fiend too, in like 2 pay-per-views straight. I mean,
Right.
This guy has just been slaughtered for the last couple months, man.
Yeah, I mean, he is literally just a dude.
Yep.
Dave, anything?
No, I agree. Like, it's crazy how far he's fallen off in what, 5-6 years or whatever.
Right.
I don't know if there was a crowd, if they would have been doing the yes chant right along with him or not.
Right.
I brought
They
it up
would
earlier.
because, they love to sing along.
Yeah, but what I thought would have been cool is if they had Drew, whatever, Goulash or whatever his name is, have him turn heel and end up joining Sami Zayn, and that would make Daniel Bryan not look like a total
Right. That's what I thought they were going to do.
Yeah,
I
mean, it
thought
made
that
sense.
was obvious. Yeah, that didn't happen, though. Sammy wins clean.
Sammy's good on the mic. I would you guys agree with me? He wouldn't be bad as just a manager. If he
That's
was
what I
just
thought they were doing with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a wrestler. Like, I mean, some guys, and you can be a very productive, instrumental part of the show as a manager.
Well, and a lot of guys like his wrestling. That's, all the everyone online, the indie darling, El Generico, love his wrestling. He just annoys me. And I guess that's what he's supposed to do, but I guess he's also like, that's who he is in real life.
He looks like a guy at the IPA bar. Like,
he looks like Seth Rogen, dude. He looks like Seth Rogen.
Yeah, he just looks like a guy you'd see out somewhere. I mean, he just isn't. But he can talk. I give him that. He can talk.
He can definitely talk. I just don't like hearing what he's saying.
Right. And I think I even heard Cole saying something earlier that something about him being annoying when he was getting introduced or something.
Right.
Which, talk about the pot calling the kettle black.
Well, yeah, and they did that going back to Nikki Cross on SmackDown. She sat at the announce table, and the whole thing was, "You're annoying. You're annoying. Get away from me. Oh, I don't want to be annoyed." Like, really?
Right.
You think someone's annoying? That tells you how bad she is.
Yep. As far as the match go, I think the match was fine. I mean, they work well. I mean, that's what those indie guys do, but there was no flair to it. When he hit the kick at the end, I didn't think that was it. Like, that just seemed like a normal, he stuck his foot up. Like, they said it was the haluva kick. I'm like, that's not the haluva kick.
Right.
And so I thought the ending was super anticlimactic. So,
well, and normally that'd be a great finish, except for the past 15, 20 years. Now everybody kicks out of everything all the time. So it was completely shocking. And same thing with the Shayna Becky thing. You're like, what? Like a roll-up beater? What?
Right. Yeah.
Normally you have to kick out of 15 finishes to win a match. And a roll-up, you're like, huh?
Yeah.
And it isn't even like cool sometimes. It's like shocking.
Yeah, well, and to that point, I mean, maybe, in retrospect, maybe I really do enjoy the fact that they did that with both of those finishes.
Well, it's more real.
Right. Yes. A lot better than Goldberg Strowman.
Like we've always said, if your finish doesn't work once, let alone 4 times, get a new finish.
It's not a
this
finish,
one obviously isn't doing its job.
Yep. It's just a move. It's not a finish. It's just a move.
Right. On to the ladder match. I thought this match was good. Not the greatest ladder match I've ever seen or anything, but good. Made no sense, again, that you got a tag team title match with 3 of the dudes. Liked a lot of the stuff they did. I thought a lot of it was heavily edited. We can get into that in a minute. Don't know if you guys noticed that as well, but whoever wants to go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the things they needed to do was address why some of these people weren't there,
They
address why
did
some of the
nothing.
changes, and they just ignored it. And especially something like the tag team match, you have to talk about it. You have to be like, hey, you know, whatever. It's not a surprise that we're in the middle of this pandemic, so
Right.
talk about it.
They
It's
won't
okay.
say the word. It's so
No,
weird. And that was since the first night on Raw. They will not, or whatever it was, they will not say the word COVID. They will not say the word coronavirus. It's just like, yeah, there's no one here. We know why. I don't get it, man. We just own it.
Yeah, it's
especially.
not Benoit.
Right. Yeah, they're acting like we all know it's not some secret.
Right.
You know,
And you
like
guys had nothing to do with it.
when Roman got sick, he said the word leukemia. Like it's not like I have something. I have to leave. Anyway, Dave.
Especially in this setting, because I mean it's WrestleMania. If anything, say, enjoy the show. I hope you guys are all safe and healthy. It's a chance to have positive PR. But
They kind of
I
did that, but they always do it in their WWE way.
yeah, and we could do a whole show on that kind of stuff. So yeah, the fact that they didn't bring up why we have single competitors in the tag team match, that had to be mentioned because it is such an odd thing. um I mean, it's cool that they tried to do something. And the match itself was good. I wouldn't say it was the greatest ladder match of all time, but they definitely had some cool spots for sure. I thought the ending was creative.
New finish. We have never
Yep,
seen that finish.
yep, I like that. But if we want to jump into the continuity errors, man, uh, the biggest one that I noticed was when Morrison was going up the ladder by himself and holding onto his shoulder, and then the next thing you know, he's facing the other way, and Kofi's jumping onto him.
Right.
I'm like, dude, how could you not like catch that,
Right.
reshoot it, or anything? I mean, you've had 2 weeks to do it.
Right. The biggest thing I saw was when Uso fell from the middle of the big ladder all the way from the middle over the top to the floor. They never showed it. He like landed out of frame.
I caught that as well.
So he obviously landed on a crash pad or something because then they
Right.
didn't cut to him for like 15 seconds and then
Yep.
they show him laying there. I mean, whatever. What
Right.
stuff like that kind of took me out of it. It made me think about that instead of thinking about the match.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Nick?
Yeah, I'd just echo that. I don't have a whole. I thought it's a stupid idea to have this in a triple threat singles match for the tag team titles. Decent ladder match. I don't think it was a memorable one. I don't think it's one we're going to talk about
Right.
10 years or something like that.
The finish really is the only thing.
The finish was interesting because, like you both said, we hadn't seen it. But other than that, that's all I got. I mean, it was just a match that didn't need to happen. It was weird. But it was an okay match.
Here's my thing with it. That should have opened the show. It should have opened the show. I don't know why it didn't. I mean, we talked about the way the show thought it should get going with a bang or whatever. And they obviously took this where you go from your minimal match and then build toward your biggest match. That's how they booked this show, except with the exception of Becky, I guess. But
Ryan, that's a good point. They could have even, if they did that match first, they could have done a whole intro and not like Debbie Downer, but talking about the coronavirus, how it's affected the whole tournament, how we're here. And then they got that match right there to illustrate how it's affected the tournament. Multiple guys out, and go right into that match and then go get going and you don't have to mention it again.
Well, and you don't, and again, they got the fans back, most of which with the Taker match at the end, but this would have gotten people from the get-go. Okay, I'm not thinking about the fans. They're doing whatever. I got a ladder match, cool bumps, cool moves, cool whatever. Instead of 2.5 matches where you're going, what? Corbin, these girls screaming the whole time? What? Yeah, it should have started with this, and then they could have bought a little time from the fans anyway. Because, I mean, dude, the first hour, people were like, this is what I was afraid of. This is what I was afraid of. Anyway, they started to lose that with this match. Pretty good. Still weird. Pretty good. Rollins Owens, probably the match of the night, unless you think the Taker thing was great. Good match. I don't understand why they needed to do the restart thing. That, I guess it makes Owens look even better, you know, because he had won the match by DQ, but he didn't want it that way, and then he still won. So I guess that makes him look stronger even. I liked it. I thought it was good. Nick, what do you think?
Rollins is probably my favorite guy right now in the WWE. I'm the same as you. I didn't like the DQ fit. I didn't like the fact that you need to restart it, but okay, whatever. I just, as much as it helps Owens, he's beaten Rollins twice in the same night then.
Right.
No, that doesn't necessarily help him. I have it wrote here. I wasn't really big on how the match finished itself. Like, he just kind of brought him in, stunned him, and then pinned him, I guess, but that was okay. I'm just not a big fan of Stone Cold Kevin Owens. I like Kevin Owens, just not a big fan of Stone Cold Kevin Owens. But it was a good match. I had no problems really with it. I'll get over the DQ. I'll get over that. I'll give you. I think it also was the best match of the evening.
Dave?
Yeah, I thought the match was good. I guess I have a little bit of a different take on the DQ, or maybe just a outlook on it. I'm so thankful that they didn't leave it as a DQ and left another feud open ended like that. I feel like these guys were evenly matched to the point where, you know, I got asked to pick who would win, and it was a coin flip because they go in so many different directions. So the fact that they let them actually have a finish to the match, I thought was good. And maybe they were teasing, you know, fans thinking that, oh, we got a stupid DQ ending. You know, I think I'm giving them too much credit to think that they would think of that. But yeah, it was the best match of the night. I thought the Owens, the big spot, I thought that was cool. It was different coming off the sign, you know, different than the cage or the Titantron and all that other stuff. So I thought it was cool, and yeah, it was good. Definitely the highlight.
I loved coming off the sign. Obviously something we've never seen before, even though it's the same kind of deal, jumping off the sign. Only problem with it is, how's this for a WrestleMania moment? And of course it was, but don't tell me about it.
Thank you.
And everything is a WrestleMania moment now. And that one truly was. But when you're talking about it nonstop, and any girl, guy, anybody's, could this be their moment? Is this going to be their moment? I'm waiting for my moment. You ruined it. You ruined it. They totally WWE'd like they always do. They get a good thing and they run it down your throat to the point where I don't want to hear it anymore, let alone when you're about to do it. I did not like that at all. I don't care if I ever hear the word WrestleMania moment ever again. Just let it happen. Don't force it to happen. Let it happen. That's it. That was a good match. Goldberg, Strowman.
No, R-Truth.
Say that again.
No R-Truth.
Oh, I didn't even.
I'm kidding.
I forgot all about it.
It was terrible.
No, let's talk about it for a second.
Go ahead.
A second.
That's how long it lasted.
Yeah.
Forearm shot. chest.
The whole thing about having Gronk there was ridiculous. Like, it didn't even seem like he was really there to do anything. And then, when they had a chance to do something, they have
Mojo.
whatever his name is, who again has won the Andre Battle Royal and done nothing with it.
Only when Gronk was there.
Right. And then they have, so whatever they're leading this up to or whatever, this is the start to something which I don't think anybody's going to care about because, again, it's another outsider trying to wrestle. Yeah, it was stupid. I like seeing R-Truth on the show. I think he's funny. He does a lot of funny bits, but I think this was a miss.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't even think about it when it happened. He's literally like the 1,000-time champion now. I don't care. Nick,
I've never liked the 24/7 title in general. R-Truth has done as good as you can do with carrying this belt and this gimmick and this whole thing. I mean, and I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying he's done as good as he could have with a bad situation.
right?
I mean, a forearm shot pins him. I mean, that's
from a job guy, from a guy who's not any good.
I think Gronk forearmed him. I think it
was did
Gronk.
He say who?
And then Gronk went for the pin, and Mojo pulled him off, and the forearm was good enough to keep him down for that long. And then he got at him and pinned him, and Mojo ran off. That was the match.
Mojo gets a push every 3 years when Gronk shows up.
Yeah.
Not to keep talking about this, but it almost seems like they've created the 24/7 championship specifically for R-Truth,
right?
To make him feel good about what he's been for them. I don't know how long he's been in the WWE, but he's been asked to do some stupid, ridiculous stuff, make himself look absolutely ridiculous time after time.
Sure.
Then it's almost they're like, here, let's do this for you. You know what? This is just for you. This is what's going to put you into the Hall of Fame. This is what we'll talk about.
It gets him on the show because he otherwise would not have been on the show. So that's for sure. That guy, I don't know if you guys ever saw that guy. Like when he was Ron the Truth Killings, he was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
He was sweet.
Sweet with the Miz.
He was sweet. They were good. They broke them up way too early. That was the best the Miz has ever been.
And remember when he was, and I don't mean to say that was cool, but he was smoking and kind of this hardcore guy outside the ring, that was going somewhere, and they just squashed that quick too.
They got rid of it because parents got mad because the mean smoking black guy beat up John Cena.
Oh, okay.
And they got rid of it like immediately.
Little Jimmy.
That was like the greatest thing ever. That night when he left Cena laying that night on Raw and was sitting over top of him, smoking a cigarette. That was great. Well. Okay. Strowman. No explanation whatsoever. He's just there. And they did with The Miz. They said The Miz couldn't compete. They did say that. I don't remember exactly what they said. But with Roman, did they say anything? Or they just said a last-second replacement? I don't remember them saying anything about Roman.
I don't recall them saying anything about it. I don't know if they mentioned something on SmackDown last night.
They did not. SmackDown was even worse. They just showed the graphic and went, Braun Strowman's facing Goldberg.
Yeah, and the post on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff just did the same thing. So I don't know. Maybe they're giving Roman crap for making that decision. I don't know. And they very well could.
Right.
If they had him in the pre-show. I watched about 45 minutes of the pre-show, and he was still in the promos. He was still in the, they were showing him in the commercials, which, I really think is a disservice to your fans, but whatever, I think
finally last night they edited in or whatever the fact that Strowman is going to be fighting and not him. But yeah, he was already in all the commercials and everything. I don't know if they got mad because he put out that Instagram post. I have no idea. Anyway, we knew this would be short, but it was actually worse than what I thought it would be.
Same.
I mean, you know what you're getting with Goldberg, but I mean, he has fought longer matches. I mean, we were 4 spears, 4 power slams. That's it. It's over. I mean, that was really bad. That was really bad. Is that the end of Goldberg, guys? What do you think?
Not if money's right.
Well,
I mean, if the money's right, I think we'll see him back again if they want him back. You know,
why would you want him back?
I don't
what does
know.
he offer?
But my whole thing is, man, this guy can't throw some kicks and punches. Like, I'm not asking you to do a Hurricane Rana or an Asai moonsault or something like that. But, I mean, he couldn't have went for a spear at the beginning. Strowman moved. He goes in the turnbuckles. Strowman beats him up for 3 or 4 minutes. He mounts a few punches, kicks, hits a spear. He kicks out, power slam. I mean, just give me a few minutes of a match, man, or something.
We saw it 3 years ago with Lesnar, and that was a lot of just power moves too, but they at least did something. I mean, they did more. That match went like 5 minutes.
And we knew it was going to go 5. That's what we knew, but it felt longer, if that makes sense. You know, it felt like it was more of a match.
But I would have taken 5 tonight is what I'm saying. We got like 45 seconds.
This was terrible. Major letdown for a main event, Universal title match. Major letdown, in my opinion.
Well, and then, you know, if you backlog it and everything too, what does that say about Wyatt? I mean,
oh my gosh.
Wyatt, Seth, and then what does that say about Seth? Seth hits 57 curb stomps and lights the guy on fire or something, whatever happened to him. He got blown up in the electronic board, and he still beats him. And then Goldberg beats him in 2 seconds. I mean, Dave, I don't know. This is they did what they had to do again. But my gosh, it doesn't help Strowman at all. Strowman just won the world belt, and I think everybody's just like, eh.
I think everybody's just like, yeah, at least we got the belt off of Goldberg. It seems like there's no forward thinking when they're making these decisions.
Exactly.
Like you go from Seth getting the crap kicked out of him by the Fiend, then the Fiend losing in 2 seconds, and then now Goldberg losing in 2 seconds. So, by the way it should work, if the Fiend and Strowman feud, Strowman should destroy the Fiend, no problem.
Right.
But you know that's not going to happen because the Fiend's going to beat Cena, and then we're going to get a whole bunch of mind games. I mean, that's what I would probably bet. I'd probably put it at like 80% that the Fiend and Strowman are going to feud.
Well, there's nobody else. I mean, who else? If we do get wrestling still, there's nobody else on SmackDown.
Right.
There's nobody ready.
Yep.
SmackDown's terrible.
I agree with you guys about the match itself. There's no reason that they could have been able to do something different because everybody did expect all the big power moves and stuff like that.
Right. The
only thing I'm happy about is that Goldberg didn't throw any kicks and ruin anybody's life.
Bret Hart, hello.
Yeah. I used to be like, oh, cool, at least we get to see this guy come back and all that other stuff. But with Goldberg, I wasn't excited any of the times that he came back because what he was back in the day was great. It was super cool. I loved it.
Right.
But they ruined it by the way they ended the streak and then everything else that came after.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and that was a lifetime ago. It was 23 years ago. And I don't know. It was okay when he came in the WWE at first until they ruined him, but it was okay when he came in. I was like, okay, let's see what he does the first time. I'm talking in 2003.
Right.
Now, I didn't care really. I thought it was dumb, and I'm not a Lesnar guy, but I thought it was dumb when he's beating Lesnar in 2 seconds. You know,
absolutely.
It just doesn't make any sense. And again, I don't know what this does for Strowman. It really, I don't. They didn't have a choice, which is fine, but I don't know. It doesn't make me think Strowman's any better now. I just saw Sami Zayn beat him the last time he fought. And now
That's
he's the
another thing.
world champ.
That's another thing with the forward thinking. Two things. Like as far as Goldberg goes, when I think about like the great era between the Monday Night Wars and stuff like that, I don't think of Goldberg, and I don't put him in that category. Uh, I don't know. To me, he just doesn't seem that significant when it comes to that stuff. Just because of, I don't know, he just seemed boring to me, and I don't know. Just my mindset with him isn't that way. And the other thing is, if they put the belt on Strowman tonight after throwing him in, what was their original plan going to be with Roman Reigns and
Right.
Goldberg?
Was it same thing, a 2-second match? I mean,
Right.
who wants to see that?
Right. But Roman can work. That's the thing. So I don't know if maybe with
Well,
that they
Strowman can work too.
yeah, I was gonna say that too. I was gonna say not to take anything away from Strowman because I think he gets a lot of unnecessary flack about not being able to work. I think he's one of the better big men we've had in a long time.
He can work. I don't like his character at all, but yeah, the guy can work like crazy.
Yeah. And I would emphasize what you guys are saying, and we've had discussions on this, Ryan. The last 6 months with the SmackDown title, the WWE title, have been a nightmare. This is why you write from the pay-per-view backwards.
Yep.
This is 100% why you say, all right, we want to get here with this is how this ends, and we go, now how do we get there? You can't just go night to night because they have killed Rollins, they killed The Fiend, they killed Goldberg, and now they're stuck with Strowman with the belt. I mean, this is just, I don't know. I don't see how this benefits anybody.
No, I've never been a Strowman guy, but I know there's a lot of them out there, and I can't imagine that anybody is satisfied. My guy finally got the belt. All right.
Oh gosh.
I can't imagine that anybody at home is doing a parade because their guy finally got the belt. And as far as what you said about Goldberg, Dave, I can see that because when I think about the Monday Night Wars, I immediately go straight to the NWO. And that's number one, right? That's number one, and that's number 3, and that's number 100, on the list.
Hey, yo.
And that's where I start and finish. Sting, obviously, on the WCW side. I do think of Goldberg a little bit, but I think I would think about DDP before I think about Goldberg because Goldberg came at the very end, and I was a huge Goldberg fan, huge fan. But he won the belt, and he really started taking off right around WrestleMania 14 when WWE started taking over.
Right.
So his reign, while they were still getting massive viewers, his reign started when WWE started taking over. So that kind of, I don't really think of him
right
in there. It's WCW, it's NWO, it's Sting, it's Luger, it's the Giant more than him.
Talking about
He probably
Strowman, guys.
kept him alive, though. He probably kept him alive another 6 months.
Right. Yeah, he extended the series. Going back to the Strowman thing, I always like the bigger guys in wrestling, like the muscular guys and stuff like that. So I do cheer for him, and I'm surprised that it's taken this long for him to get the belt. But yeah, by no means did I cheer, was I excited or anything like that, because the way it happened. I would have rather him beat like Cena or something like that to get the belt,
Right.
The only time I cheered tonight, I did pop when Becky won because I did not think she would win.
Well, it came out of nowhere. It was a nowhere finish. Like I was like, huh? What's it? Yeah. She won like that?
I literally like clapped and cheered when that happened. And no other time in the night did I do that except from when my gut was dying laughing at the Undertaker thing.
Okay. A lot of the other guys do their shows. They give a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. I haven't even thought about this yet. So what do you think? Let's say, what do you want to do? 1 to 5, 1 to 10. Any idea what you would give night number 1? What do you want to go to a scale of 10? Or do we want to do the 5-star Tokyo Dome Classic?
Either or.
Well, I'll let you go first, man. Whatever you think. Whatever whatever comes out of your mouth will be the executive decision. So night number 1, what do you give it, and then sum it up maybe?
If I had to go, I guess I'll just do out of 10. If I had to do this WrestleMania, 10 being like to me a WrestleMania 3 and 1 being WrestleMania 11, I'm gonna probably go at best a 2.5 or 3.
Wow.
This is, I mean, when you look at it, I'll give it a 3. You had there were matches, but there wasn't really anything overwhelming. Your championship match was terrible. Your Undertaker AJ match was terrible, in my opinion. The match that everybody's gonna say with the ladder match, sure, it's a good ladder match, not memorable, but it was really weird and kind of awkward because it was a tag team single triple threat ladder match.
Right. You had to just forget about that. You know what I mean?
And I think what gives it a 3 was tonight, at least, maybe they salvage this tomorrow, was the Kevin Owens match and Seth Rollins. I mean, I enjoyed that. And I guess the Becky match to a degree. I wasn't really interested. It was hard with the crowd. There wasn't a match I was dying to see on this. And the big 2 matches that I did want, I was Undertaker and Brock. I'm sorry, Undertaker and Braun Strowman matches. They were just bad matches. And those were like your signature 2, I think, weren't they? And they were bad.
Yeah. The girl match as well being the title match, Shayna and Becky, which was a good match. I thought that was a good match.
Good. Sure, I wouldn't give it great status, but I mean, it was good. But again, would you rewatch this again?
That's what I was thinking about halfway through. I'm like, all right, I'm probably never going to watch this again in my life.
No.
And
maybe to show someone to make fun of that last match.
Well, right. And I'm going to do that. And that's what I was going to say. I am going to, as soon as we get done, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch that entrance again because I almost peed my freaking pants when he came out. I'm not kidding you, man. I almost peed all over myself when he or whatever the Metallica song was. This can't be real. Like, I'm getting punked. This cannot be real. I may go watch it again. Maybe. Like, just am I missing something here? I don't know. Dave, what do you got? I guess we're going 1 to 10. Nick comes in at a 3.
As far as talking about things that are rewatchable, yeah, the Undertaker and AJ Styles thing, the only reason to rewatch it is to break it down, to make fun of it more. I would go back and watch the Becky and Shayna match again because I kind of feel like I need to. Same thing with the ladder match and the Owens and Rollins match. Like, those are the only matches I could see rewatching. And maybe Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. Like, those are the matches that I would probably base most of the ranking on because everything else is just garbage. And again, with the weird situation with the fans and everything like that, it is hard to get into it and hard to have rewatchability based on that. So I'm not much further than Nick. I would probably give it a 4, and that's being generous because of the atmosphere and everything that's going on.
Right.
I definitely have respect for them for at least putting on a show and doing what they can. Props to all the wrestlers that essentially were putting themselves at risk and going out there. I definitely commend them for that. And I think they got Vince McMahon, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't know what I'll give it. I'll think here for a second, but I didn't think the show was that bad. I mean, and I don't know if that's grading on a scale, grading on a curve because of what they were dealing with. I don't know if that's why. I didn't think it was all that bad, to be honest with you. The first 2 matches were terrible, and the last 2 matches were terrible. The matches in the middle of that, I thought were all pretty good. And if they were in front of a crowd, I think they probably would have been really good. I think that Becky Shayna match would have been good. I know that Rollins Owens match would have been amazing. Now, he might not have had a sign to jump off of. I don't know.
Right.
But I think that would have been good. I think that ladder match probably would have been pretty hot. Don't think they could have done some of the moves they did. I read online that it took Morrison 4 times to walk the ropes. Whatever. We didn't see that. That was sweet. Obviously, the other spots we mentioned, they probably couldn't have done because they had to shoot them multiple times. But that would have been hot in front of a crowd. Rollins Owens, hot in front of a crowd. The other 2 matches, Shayna and Sammy, those matches weren't that bad. And when you look at other WrestleManias and you go up and down their card and you're like, yeah, there's only 2 good matches or there's 3 good matches. Well, there was 3.5 good matches tonight. The other ones I thought weren't good at all. But I do give them credit. Strowman, they were thrown in a tough situation. And the Undertaker thing, it is what it is. Even though I hated it, I will give them credit for trying. They just overdid it, man. They just overdid it. And everybody worked their butts off. Even the matches we didn't like, they worked their butts off. And they gave it everything they had. I don't 4 or 5. Maybe if I'm feeling generous, I give it a 5. I really didn't think it was the 3 matches in the middle being the girls' title match, women's title match, the ladder match, and Rollins Owens. I thought were really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. But again, the other stuff was bad. The other stuff was bad.
2 big matches that were real bad. 2 big matches. Your title match and the Taker match.
Well, and I don't understand why people like the Taker in just that I can't take that guy seriously.
No.
So the second his music and he showed up on the bike, I was done. I mean, they did okay for what it was, but like I just didn't like what it was. And I don't like him talking junk like a cool guy.
No, he was being Mark Calloway or whatever
Right.
his name is. He wasn't being the Undertaker.
It's just
until
all these years of protecting the gimmick and all that, and now he's cool guy Mark.
Right.
Get out of here, man. Nash is Big Daddy cool. You aren't. Like, get out of here. It didn't work for me, brother.
You made a good point, and so if the crowd was there, I could see giving this a 7 or an 8.
Exactly.
It definitely could have turned it.
Guys,
or as the
if
kids
you're
say,
saying 5,
turn
though,
up.
you're saying it's better than, if you're saying even a 6, it's better than half of the WrestleManias.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad ones.
Like 5.
I mean, I really think that Rollins Owens match would have been amazing. I really do. In front of a crowd. I think that would have been good. I think the women's title match was a good match. I didn't like the finish just because it caught me off guard, and I don't like what they did to Shayna. But the match was good.
But see, I think those are the only 2 good ones. The ladder match is negated because of its stupidity, though. It's not a tag match for the tag titles, in my opinion.
Right.
And that just makes it kind of, I mean, it's a
and
match.
Could they have done those spots in front of a live crowd? We don't know how many times they had to shoot the ending. The ending. They may have had to shoot that 10 times.
And it's almost like we're looking at it as a singles title match anyways. We're not really looking at like a tag team title match.
You have to completely block that out of your head.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a 3 at the best. We got a 4, and I got maybe a 5. I'm definitely going to watch that last thing again, and then maybe that's going to get everybody. I probably won't watch the whole thing, though. I got to watch his entrance again, though. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like, it's...
They did do the right thing with the way they had AJ come in, though. That was the perfect heel thing to do in that scenario.
it's great. But yeah, they did. They really.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
not starring
they
a
murdered
match
this
because
guy.
they brought AJ in. Man, I can't give a match credit because 30 seconds of the match with the entrance was
They
good. Man.
butchered
Right.
this guy, though. Okay, so now we know a little bit of what we're getting. We have under 3 minutes here, 2.5 minutes. Nick first, 2.5 minutes. Tomorrow, are there any expectations for tomorrow based on what we saw tonight?
I think I'm looking forward to Edge and Orton. I think they're gonna pull off a match that may save this whole Mania. I really think those guys can work. I'm curious if they'll, we've been stunned by Brock a few times in the title match, and they've kept the belt on him. I'm interested if they'll actually go with Drew.
Yeah, I think they will, based on the fact that they got a big thing on him on the network right now that's leading up to this. I think maybe that gave it away. You would hope so. Yes, Dave, same thing.
I'm nervous about the Brock Lesnar Drew match. I don't think I can stand if Brock Lesnar beats Drew the way all this push is gone for him. And I like the guy's story. I watched a little bit of the show tonight, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
One match that I think will be a little bit goofy but entertaining will be Otis and Ziggler.
Right.
And I'm going to put it out there that Rhea Ripley and Charlotte are going to have the best women's match that we've seen in a long time.
They both can work.
Yeah.
No doubt. Love
so
or
I'm going to
hate
throw
their
that out there.
characters. Okay. Well, all right. We'll do it again tomorrow night. Thanks, fellas.
All right. Be good.
You.
All right. We'll see
Take
you.
care.